Hey everyone. Lauren, how you doing? Glad to hear it. Brendon, I just activated your mic and webcam. Relin, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Eileen, how you doing? Wayne from Idaho, how you doing? There he
Can you hear me?
is. I can. Can everyone hear Brendan and me?
I can hear you. You sound good. If I ruffle this microphone, that means that this microphone's on. Are you hearing that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
hear it
Good.
loud and clear. All right. Relin, just got your gloves Friday. Very hot and sweaty. Love them. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Relin. We get a lot of that. Sean, how you doing? LaShawn, how you doing? Chris from Massachusetts, how you doing? Loud and clear. Everyone's good on sound. Okay, we're going to give it just a couple of minutes because it seems like some people are still filtering
Sure.
through.
Yeah. I was
In the
just
mean-
on YouTube. I did like a quick live thing and told people to come over. So
Okay, awesome. Ian, thank you for that.
where are you, Sean?
I'm in
Oh,
Tampa,
okay.
Florida.
What part? Like where?
We
Where
had
in
a
Tampa? Like in Tampa?
yeah, not far from
Oh, okay.
downtown,
Okay.
South
Yeah.
Tampa.
We used to stay on Anna Maria Island out there. Hmm.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's not too far. That's like
Right.
40
And then
minutes
we used
away
to go
from
to
us,
Phillies
45
games
minutes.
in Clearwater. Yeah.
Have you played any have you played any courses here in
No,
Tampa?
not up there. I played the course right by St. Petersburg Airport. I forget the name of that one. And then yeah, I played a couple courses like down near St. Petersburg. Oh, I played the worst course in America, not too far from you. It's called Waterleaf. Have you ever played there?
No, I thought you were going to say
No,
Silver
no.
Dollar, but go
There's this course.
ahead.
So it's like there's the bay with that giant bridge that goes from Tampa like over towards St. Pete, and like near the
Yeah,
base of the bridge is this place called Waterleaf, and some subscribers like I linked up with them and they took me out there. There's water all over this golf course, and like anytime you hit a ball and you're like, well, that one's good, and they're like, no, there's a little lake there. You're like that one's good. No, there's a little pond there. That one's good. No, that's way in the water. Like I lost 15 golf balls playing this golf course. There's so many like hidden little things of water, and in every water hazard, there's like alligators as well. So
right,
it
right,
was
right,
just
right.
it was not fun. Fun factor zero. So, but it was still cool to hang out with those guys or whatever.
Yeah, it can get hot down. And today we had a heat index. I think they said it felt like 106 or 108 degrees here today.
Wow,
That just the humidity
that's
is
crazy. Yeah,
brutal.
I don't deal with the heat real well either. We had
Yeah,
yeah, like one time I went and when I first did the channel, like I saw that there's a $250 golf course that you could play for like $45 out in Palm Springs because it was like July 4th or something, July 5th. So I went out there and I played it, but it was like 116 degrees when we played,
oh
and
wow.
it was brutal. So I ended up getting myself really sick. Like I got dehydrated and got like an infection and got like really really sick for 3 months or something. So
Yeah,
just from getting
jeez.
dehydrated. So I'm always super
Wow. Well,
careful
that's crazy.
about the heat like that. Mhm.
Right. Ian said Gators don't phase him, but losing that many balls would not be fun. I hear you. Rob, I know you're waiting for global domination. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Rob's in Australia, I believe, and we don't ship to Australia. He's
yeah.
been asking me about that. So, okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to be conscientious of everyone's time and Brendon taking time out of his day to do this webinar with us. So, first thing is, no one's going to be able to see the messages because I don't want people just to be getting caught up in the messages going back and forth. So the only person who can see the messages currently is me. That's why no one else can see them. Real quick, just hope everyone is safe with the coronavirus and everything. And shout out to our essential workers, any first responders. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. Hope everyone's family is safe, etc. And hopefully brighter days are close by. So let's go ahead and get started because I am super excited to have Brendon here. Brendon, I reached out to Brendon to do this because I've been following, I followed your channel for a while. And so UpGlove, and we'll get into this in a second, most of the people who are members of UpGlove are pretty avid golfers. And I think, your whole channel on how it resonates with amateurs getting better at golf, people who really enjoy and are passionate about the game, really fits, our customer base. So super glad to have you, and we'll get in a little bit more into that. So real quick here, who is this for? If you're an amateur golfer and you're looking to break through a plateau, if you're looking to play better golf, if you want to uncover what it really takes to be a better golfer, from Brendon, who has really seen it all. If you haven't watched his channel, I highly encourage you guys to go ahead and subscribe, and we'll get into a little bit more of that later. Then you are definitely in the right place. And I can tell you 100%, I feel we have the right person to guide us in the right direction today. Who's this not for? Basically, if you're looking for that one magic quick fix, I hate to break it to you, it's not out there. Golf is a tough sport, and it's pretty hard, and it takes a lot of work. And LaShawn, if you don't care about trying to improve your game, well, that's what this webinar is really kind of centered around, and also for everyone to get to know Brendon a little bit.
I always
better.
hear about these like mythical golfers that golf teachers talk about that is like, oh, there's lots of guys out there that just, they just go to enjoy the walk and play. Like, I've never met that golfer that just doesn't want to get better. Doesn't want to get better. I guess there are people that have resigned themselves to just playing the way they play, but
or they just don't have time to do it or whatnot, and they go out once every couple of months, whatnot. So, but real quick, if you guys are not familiar with UpGlove, I'm the founder of UpGlove. Basically, we sell golf gloves. We're on a subscription. We have a mesh backing. I don't know how well you guys can see that. We have soft top grade leather for your palm. Here's little packaging. You guys kind of can see the logo here in the back. And basically, you get premium golf gloves for about half the price. And hence why, and it's a membership, so hence why I have Brendon on here today, because most of the people who are with UpGlove are pretty avid golfers. I'm very passionate about golf myself, hence I wouldn't have started a golf glove business. I'm a single-digit handicap, so I've watched tons of Brendon's YouTube videos and other videos across the way, and that's a little bit about me and UpGlove. Real quick about Brendon, and we'll get into a little bit more about Brendon. He's the founder of Be Better Golf. If you guys search Be Better Golf on YouTube, you'll find tons of videos. He also has his website at bebettergolf.net. He has over 70,000 YouTube subscribers. And Brendon, when I say he's seen it all, he's seen it all. He's worked with coaches that have coached PGA Tour players, long drive champions, scientists, touring professionals. He's really knowledgeable about all facets as far as exploring it with different people in different parts of the game, whether it's a touring pro, whether it's a coach, whether it's a scientist. So he brings a lot of knowledge to us all here today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started into the meat and potatoes of everything. So Brendon, real quick, you are honestly, when I say this, I'm being like, I don't personally know you all that well, but just watching your videos and just realizing like this guy is traveling, videotaping, and you've done it for years. Like, where did you're probably the most passionate person I've seen about golf. Where did that passion begin?
Well, I played golf, like I took a series of 3 lessons when I was 16, but it didn't catch like at all. Like I went to, it was an indoor place and I took the lessons and it just didn't do anything for me. I had played baseball in high school and done some other sports, but like golf really was like almost like a nothing to me. Like I didn't think about it at all. My brother was a caddy at Philadelphia Cricket Club and he was big into it. So that was like his thing. But I had never even played on the golf course. I took that series of 3 lessons, which actually I was at 16, and I think later on that ended up helping me, like having that little bit of like, grip, stance, super basic things. But I totally forgot about golf completely. And then I went to college, and then I moved out here from Philadelphia to California to try to get a job in like the film and TV business. And while I was first out here, I had nothing going on, like nothing at all. Like there was nobody looking for whatever skills I was bringing, which were like very little anyway. So I was spending all day just waiting for people to return my calls about jobs or whatever, and this was like, for like a year, I was just like, just trying to get a job, trying to get my foot in the door at a place. So I ended up, to kill time, I used to go over to there was a golf course near where I was living in Arcadia. And I would just, my roommate or a guy that had used to live where I was living had left a putter and like a wedge. So I used to go over there and just putt because you could putt and chip around there for free. So I would just, just in doing that and killing time doing that, like all of a sudden, like before I knew it, like I got like really, really like badly hooked on golf, like real intensely. And
just from chipping,
just from chipping and putting, and then if it got late in the day, like you could scrape some balls back, and then you'd whack those or whatever. But that was it. And then my brother, he wanted me to become like a golf addict, so that he'd have somebody to play with. He lives in Virginia, so my brother sent me $100, and he said like, hey, you can only use this on golf. So I went out and played like 4 times or something with that $100, and by the end of it, I was just like super into it. So then I kept pretty close to the time that I first started playing golf. This is when I was like 23 or 24. I made a deal with some guys that I had met at the golf show to where I would make some video commercials for their business. It was like an indoor golf teaching business. So I would make some commercials for them, and in return, they would give me some lessons, and they would let me practice at their spot. This is a place called, this is a place called Golf Excellence. And the same thing was going on. Like then, like I had some like TV jobs or whatever, but like when you work in TV then, now too, it's like you work like solid for like 2 weeks, and then you might not work for like a month, And so then I would, so when they gave, like, I don't know if they realized when they made this deal that I would be allowed to practice there, that I would basically be there like constantly. So I was there for like literally like 5-6 hours a day, like all the time. Like when it opened, and it was one of those systems I really liked, and I think this is a great way for people who are first learning golf, where you would hit the ball and then you'd look back and you'd see your swing replayed like again right away, kind of like Golf Tech has now, but a little different. And then and they were giving me lessons too. So I got kind of off to a pretty quick start with golf, where I was getting a pretty good foundation. And then that's really how it began. I was really just bitten by the golf bug pretty bad.
So it was basically after you moved out to California, after college, you kind of started getting into it. So it really wasn't until after college.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And people always I think there's a huge difference between how you have to learn golf for the type of person who learned golf. Basically, like the dividing point is like puberty. So if you tried to learn golf before puberty, that's like a totally different way to learn golf than you should after. Because when you're learning how to ride a bike and you're learning how to use a pencil and you're learning how to do tennis for the first time, do all these different things for the first time, you're also learning golf for the first time. Like your brain's like ready for that, But if you're trying to learn it like I did, like at 24 years old, or even at like 17 or 18 years old for the first time, that's totally different. And the thing about golf is that if you look at golf is taught, I would say like 95% of the people who teach golf are people who learned like 12 years old or younger. And 95% of the people who take golf lessons are people who first took up golf 12 years old or older, But they're, to me, very different ways that you have to go about it. And I've always been fascinated by golfers who did learn at a late age, like Y Yang or Larry Nelson. Y Yang learned supposedly at like 22 or something. I don't know if that's true, but he was like a power lifter or something that converted to golf, and then like he became like a champion golfer. Right. Larry Nelson learned after the Marine Corps. And Lee Trevino apparently learned late, but I think he was doing it kind of. Yeah,
because he was a caddy. Wasn't he a caddy?
I'm not sure, but like people use him as an example of like a late bloomer that did it. He was definitely like one of the most famous like golf hustlers, but I just don't know the age that was in, because he was in the Marine Corps as well, and then I think there was something with that. So I've always been interested in those guys who were able to like still do it at a really high level. And especially here in California, so it's probably like this in Tampa as well. But there's a lot of people who move to this area to just like, they've done other things and now they want to become like full-time like pro golfers, And a lot of these people have athletes in other things or kind of dabbled in golf, but are now like getting serious into it. It's just like such a crazy hill to climb. If you're to be like at that elite level, if you didn't pick it up till like say like your 20s or even your late teens, very tough.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. And I played with a guy who played on what's now called the Korn Ferry Tour, and he was a club champion at this place that I played at with my buddy. My buddy was a member there, and I would play with them a lot. And I think he was like top, like, I don't know, like 5 in driving when he was playing. And he was lights out, and his short game was like, he hit a 40-yard bunker shot, and this thing came out so low. I was like, he bladed it. And then it was stopped, like on a dime. I was like, geez, how did this guy not make it? Like he bombs it over 300 yards. He's got a short game like that. And like, he couldn't even make it on, the Korn Ferry, or at the time it was called web.com or whatever. And he couldn't make it, it's amazing. Like the level of play that you have to be on like the PGA Tour is just insane.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people who play other sports, they think other athletes are pretty annoying when it comes to golf, actually, because like they come from other sports, let's say basketball or football or like anything like those sports, or hockey, and they think like, well, golf has never seen an athlete before, so they think me, like, I'm a great athlete, and if I get into golf, like, everybody in golf, they're just like these like nerds that are like got really good at this like skill of golf. But if you put that kind of drive into, like a high tuned race car, like my athletic, skilled body, like I'm going to be, they just never saw an athlete like this before. But that's not really what it takes to be like, there's Charles Barkley and a list, a huge mountain of amazing athletes that cannot play golf at all. So it's really almost like athletic ability is like very, very small amount of what you need to be like a really good golfer. I would say there's a lot of guys on the PGA Tour not like real like athletic, or you would just watch them in general and they would be like clumsy or uncoordinated in general, but like super sharp with golf, So that's it's kind of like, because some of these guys think that they can just like, oh, now that I'm putting my mind to, I got a really good level at basketball or baseball or whatever it was. Now I'm putting my mind to golf. Like it's only going to take me like a couple of years and I'm going to be like top of the heap, just like I was in that. No, not really. But there like a friend of mine, Milo Lyons, who's he teaches a lot of tour pros. There's a guy.
I saw the video. Yeah. I saw the video.
So he teaches a guy that was a pitcher in the major leagues, and now this guy is winning mini tour events, which is pretty cool. Like he's a really good golfer, and he's like he's not doing it through like we saw like other like professionals like even John Smoltz and other guys like are winning on kind of like the celebrity circuit, like that Tahoe event and stuff like that. But this guy is going through to these mini tour events. He's actually paying whatever the $750 a day or whatever it is, and winning money from other guys who are like trying to get up through it. So it needs a level of golf requires a level of humility that a lot of athletes aren't really used to. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so let's talk briefly here about like Be Better Golf. Like, when did you start the channel? What was like, did you just come up with this thing like, gosh, you know what, I should just start this?
Well, I was always like watching so many YouTube golf videos, like all the time. I was watching YouTube golf videos. There weren't that many. Like I started Be Better Golf, I think in like 2015 or 16. Or the end of maybe like March of 2015, March of 2016, I think. And so I was watching and I had always thought of, because I have this like big passion for golf, and then also like professionally, like I'm real skilled at like making videos and stuff. That's like what I do for my regular job. And I always thought about putting these two things together. Thought about like an interview show where I would like travel around interviewing different people about golf. And then, and I never really took any action on that. I did sometimes, like I had a YouTube, like if you go way back in my YouTube channel, I would every once in a while put up like a golf thought or something like that. Or I actually won a contest. There was this training aid called the Golf Swing Shirt. I don't know if you've seen it, like you put it on like that. They had a contest like to show yourself using and make a video of yourself using it. And so I put up a video about it, and I won the contest with my video, and I got to play a round of golf at Trump National with Patrick Harrington, which was really cool. Yeah, it was really neat. And he was like a really good guy. And it was funny too, because he gave me this tip when I was playing that day, and I was thinking like, what, like you're not supposed to do that in the golf swing. What, like that doesn't make sense. And that was kind of got the gears moving in my head about like, all right, I've been hearing this one thing about the golf swing forever, which was like, hold the leg or whatever. And Patrick Harrington was telling me basically to do the opposite. And I was like, but that's not what I see when I look at slow motion videos. So I was watching, in particular, I was watching videos. So I kind of forget about it for a little while, but then I was watching videos from Monty Scheinblum, a guy that I've had on my channel a whole bunch, really great instructor. Yeah. And I was watching videos from him, and it was some of the first videos that he was putting up regularly at Oak Creek, the golf course he works at. And he was saying a lot of counterintuitive things like Patrick Harrington had said. And that just didn't like, that was like, I was sending flips in my brain, and I was like writing comments in the YouTube comment section. And I was like, I have so many questions, but then every time you get a question answered, it would be like, result in like 3 more questions. So I was like, I should just go down there and like videotape him. So I did. So I asked him, and he said, sure. And I said, I just sent him an email and I was like, I'm thinking about starting this new show. I'd like to interview you. He was like, sure. So I went down there, and you see, like my first videos, I wasn't really that good at it or at all. But I had this kind of like, I was kind of like a very frustrated golfer, and like kind of angry as well. So I would like ask them questions and be like, well, this guy says this, and you say this, and this guy says that, and like I was trying to make these things that people always talk about, you know, these things that never match. You know, one teacher says this and another teacher says that. And I was trying to be like, because if, you know, for a while, like for a long time, people used to think like, oh, there's a secret to golf, and just the pros and the good players just don't want you to know it. And I was almost like, I was almost like getting to be like half in that camp, because I had reached a certain level of golf, and I just felt like I wasn't getting any better. And I was desperate to get better. That's why I just called it. Because I was like, I'm not looking for, that's the whole thing about Be Better Golf. It was like, I'm not looking for like a tip to you know, shave a little bit off of here, or to get a little bit, you know, of a more on playing there. Like, I'm just, because when I would play in these amateur tournaments, it wasn't that this guy did something better than me or some other better than me. He was just a better golfer. I was like, that's what I want. I just want to, in general, be a better golfer. So that's how I got started. I did that video with Monty, and the thing that really gave it, Monty had like, I think like 4,000 subscribers at that point or something. And I asked Monty, I said, hey, can I put a teaser to the interview for my channel on your channel? So we put like 5 minutes of it on his channel and said, to watch the rest of the interview, go to subscribe to Be Better Golf. So I had like 0 subscribers, or maybe like 25 or something. And when Monty put that teaser that I cut up on his deal, a lot of his people started coming over, and like I got like 500 or something subscribers. And that's always like the hardest part of anybody's like YouTube channel, is always going from like 0 to something. And usually the problem people have is like they're waiting for that golden, amazing, awesome video opportunity to put up that's really going to catch people. But it doesn't work like that. You'd be much better off just to put up like bad videos consistently and honest and consistent videos about whatever you're making your videos about, and just keep putting them up, you know, and don't really like expect anything out of it for a while. Just like get better at it and be consistent at it. Because in the journey of doing Be Better Golf, like I've become like a better golfer for sure, but I've become like a much better like YouTube video maker, and like that's one of the things that's been a bonus about it.
Scott was asking how that golf shirt was.
Oh, the golf shirt from Australia. Is that what?
The one that you won.
Oh, the golf swing shirt. It was good. It was good. Like I like that shirt. But I have kind of like a different golf. Like if you saw that the old Ben Hogan 5 Lessons book, you know, where he's got his arms like tied up in like mummy wrap almost, like together to like keep them together. That's kind of like what it's based on. But now like I love the golf swing shirt for pitching and chipping, and not putting so much because your elbows kind of go out more. But for pitching and chipping, I think it's amazing. But I think anything past like belt high, like I don't like it that much for that. Yeah. So they're still selling quite a few of those, and I don't think Patrick's involved anymore. But yeah.
And Pat, your question may get answered a little bit later, so I'm going to table that, and we'll have a Q&A session, guys, a little bit later. So, Brendon, so real quick on that point, so basically, what you're doing, so essentially you're reaching out to these golf professionals and you're communicating with them like, hey, I would love to come out and film about X, Y, and Z. And then you go out, you meet these guys, you guys do your film session, and then ultimately it ends up on your channel.
Yeah, usually it works kind of like in the same way that collabs work for more normal YouTube channels. So the best way it works is if a guy has a YouTube channel where they're trying to make a point about the golf swing that, you know, that kind of resonates with, like, it's only like if somebody like has put up it's almost always somebody's put up a video that's like really interesting to me, or a new perspective on, usually like, because like golf is like the general problem of like golf, and especially like full swing, is like it's pretty basic. So like what you have to do. But when somebody comes with like a new perspective on how to get that done, because I think that's what people get lost in too much, where there's two different ways you could go about like solving the problem of what is golf. Like you could be like, you could really concentrate on the things that happen in a good swing. So like, let's say like you see this like good leg, you see this good rotation, you see, you know, the ball launching a certain way. Like those are all the things that happen. But I mean, that's something that like anybody could tell. That's something that like a camera could tell or anything like that. But I like Be Better Golf to be a lot more about like what to do to make those good things happen. Yeah, because so many things in golf, they're talking about things that are basically like a history lesson. Like that's an analysis of what happened. Or they show like 20 players and they're like, look, all these players are similar in this way or that way. Or this player is you're a bad player because you're not like these other players. Well, that's all stuff that happened. And a lot of the times the things that you have to do in order to make the good thing happen will be totally incorrect. Like you may have to feel like, let's say like, okay, like you have to go across the line, you know, like let's say you have to feel that you're massively across the line with like a broken wrist, or right, like this, right? That might get the golfer to look like Daniel Berger. Like you never know. So a lot of times when people are having these like ridiculous golf debates, it's like, how come you're telling your students to do X, Y, and Z? X, Y, and Z never happens in any good golf swing. And but the rubber really meets the road. It's like, okay, well, how are the students doing? Are they getting better with that info? Because your brain, the way your brain interprets something, you might have to tell them something that's totally wrong to do in order to get the good thing to happen. So that's usually the process. When I see somebody that has put up a cool video or a blog post or something like that, that's something that I like, I'll send them an email. My name is Brendon DeVore. I run a YouTube channel about golf with over X amount of subscribers. And I really like to interview you on putting, or I really like to interview you about this concept that you had. Right? Like I haven't heard anybody else talk about it like that. And here's an example. Awesome. And most guys have been super cool. Only a couple times I've had guys like have like very strange reactions to me asking to do this, but for the most part, everyone's been really nice.
Yeah, I think, you know, and I think it's important for everyone who's listening right now too, like just to think about all the time and effort that takes to set up, to go work with someone, go travel to go see them, videotape it, cut the videos, do all that stuff. So,
yeah, I mean, you could put all the work that goes into like those golf videos into like, it would be about like this much, and then the editing is always this much. Like the editing is brutal. Like if you're gonna start like it's like such a time suck, and it's not really that fun either. Like making the videos it takes a long time. It's difficult, but like it's fun. You're golfing, you're talking about golf, you're getting better. You like, you know, you're interacting with like other golfers. Like, you know, it's you know, I do that for free. But the editing is brutal because, you know, like I'm 40 hours a week at a regular job, and so basically like all my editing time is after the kids go to sleep or whatever else. So for the first 2 years of the channel, like there was no like work-life balance. Like I was literally up almost every night till like 2 or 3 in the morning editing these videos, and then you know, trying to consistently put them out. It wasn't until I got better at doing the videos and gang shooting them and having different like strategies to do that before like the editing wasn't just totally like the worst time consuming thing. Because that's what, like, you know, the one thing about it is like working a desk job like most people do, and editing is just like that's what I do professionally as well. It's like I think that like somebody who works a desk job probably gets their body destroyed even worse than somebody who's doing like manual labor every day, like on a construction site. I mean, I have to talk to like a doctor about that. but like it is so damaging. I mean, even the way you and I are sitting right now, like it's so damaging to your body, and then just to you, like personally, like as an athlete, you know, you're not moving, you're not interacting with things in the physical world. And so the editing itself is bad. So that'll be the next step of Be Better Golf, is to be able to get like an intern or something like that to help me with the editing. But right now it's all bad.
Well, I think I speak for everyone who says, you know, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to actually go and do all these collabs and work with people and travel and then ultimately you're trying all this stuff out for everybody to see what works. So definitely appreciate everything that you're doing there. And now I want to move over into the three things. And one of my lights just went out here, so I'm going to move this other one over here a little bit. Hold on. All right. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and move into the tips.
Yeah. Before
someone asked, Pat asked, do you have to pay Malaska and all these other instructors to see them?
What do you think? I don't know. No, I don't know. It's like, for example, no, I don't have to pay these guys, but for, to videotape them. But a good example of this is like I went and saw Milo, you know, and Milo was like, Milo was a guy that watched Be Better Golf for a while. Plus, like he teaches right next to Mike Malaska. So when I would go out there and do videos with Mike, Milo would see the videos that I did like from Superstition Mountain. So I kind of got in like his space, and you know, where he was like watching my videos and I was asking him some questions. And so I went out I told Milo like, hey, we should do some videos together once like you guys are accepting people at like outsiders at your club again after the virus. And he was like, yeah, okay, that'd be fun. And so like Milo like is $125 a lesson, or you can like spend all day with him for a certain amount or whatever. Like he literally took like, he's super generous. Like he took like a full day plus like parts like so basically like a full day and a half like out of his work, and we just like did videos together. And so that's like a risk on his part, like okay, let me not see my customers, you know, my clients, you know, for like take a full day out. So then, but then like once I started putting the videos up, like people started really, and I didn't, you know, like the guy was asking, I didn't pay Milo anything to be on the channel, and Milo also didn't have to pay me to be on the channel, because sometimes people get contacted by people to be part of things, you know, but you got to pay. But Milo said that within like within like a week of the first video on Be Better Golf coming out, he got over 200 requests for online lessons. His tee sheet blew up. He needed to switch over to another booking system, and so like it's a total win-win. I mean, like win-win-win actually. It's a win for me, for the golf channel. It's a win for people that get to see the videos, and it's a win for the instructors. So it can. One instructor did ask me, because I wanted to go visit him in like really far away place, but like a interesting instructor to me. He's like, and I was talking to him for like hours on the phone, and he's like, okay, I get one question for you, but and he's like, why would I do this? Like, what would possibly be in it for me to do this? And I was like trying to tell him the same things I was just telling you, but he was like an older guy. It just didn't click with him. Like he just didn't get why that would be a benefit to him. So I was like, okay, that's fine. It just didn't work out.
Yeah. Right. By the way, Milo rips it.
Yeah. He's the best driver I've ever seen. Yeah,
he crushes it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what you guys are all going to get away from this are some of the tips that Brendon shared with me. So, and we'll spend a few minutes on each one, so you guys can kind of hear Brendon's thoughts on this. Tip number 1: sign up for a tournament just above your level.
Yep.
So Brendon, why would, you know, an amateur who's trying to get better, what does this do for them basically?
Basically what this will do for you is, the reason I say this, and I wanted to put it first, is that like one of the most powerful ways to get better is just like motivation. Because like if you're just playing golf, like, say with like your regular group, or you're just kind of like spinning your wheels and you feel like you're working on the right things, but you just don't know. Like you got to if once you sign up for that tournament that's like just above your level. So for example, like I signed up last year. Like I signed like just above my level is that mini tour player, you know. So I signed up for like a mini tour pro event, and I had like my goal, or one of my goals in the channel was like, I think it would be cool to go from like just amateur golfer to like somebody that like has won money from other people who are doing it professionally. Like, so I was doing this thing. It was almost called like, what was it calling it? Like Project Pro Money. Like I was going to take somebody else's money. Like that was like doing it like as a pro. So once you sign up for a tournament that you know that you're not quite at that level, like you know that and especially like if it's not in your area or you're going to be playing with guys that like you almost never see, you like when I was preparing for that tournament, that motivated me to start practicing like 3-footers. Like when are you going to like try to like do that circle drill that you always see people talking about, where you try to make 100 putts in a row in a circle? Like you're never going to do that unless you know that you have this tournament coming up. And it also is going to like, there's so much different information about golf. When you know you have like a tournament coming up, you're going to start to be real deliberate about what you accept into your like sphere of influence and what you get, toss off, because like I don't need something that's going to work in like a couple years or even is just going to be a quick fix but then fall away. Like you're going to start to, of all these different tips you're going to see, you're going to be like, hey, I need to peak at this certain time to get it pretty good by this tournament. And it just makes your when you have this thing coming up, and it's the same thing that they always say, like I knew this piano teacher, and she said one of the most important things about being a piano teacher is the recitals, because they'll just kind of practice, and they'll just the piano players will, especially like kids, they'll always kind of like stay at their level. But like if you know you have that recital coming up, then like the intensity gets so much more. And that's the main thing when you practice, more than anything else, more than any great tip or anything else, your practice needs to be intense. And this is the thing that Tiger Woods figured out better than anybody else, because he was able to, not be playing on tour for weeks and weeks and weeks, but still like show up at the major, having only practiced by himself, right at that, bleeding edge of intensity that he needs to do that. And the other thing is too, like if you keep playing with like the same people, like they see you in a certain way, and it's kind of a give and take. Like they see you and you see them seeing you. So like, like they know your shot shape, they know who you are, and they basically like have you figured out. It's nice when you go into another tournament and they know nothing about you. Hey, if you like, let's say you're a 5 handicap, but you go and you play in the state amateur, a qualifier. If you go to that qualifier, they don't know anything about you. So if you hit, 3 good shots, your first 3 shots are good, and you make a birdie, for all you know, you're like the best player from your area, or you're the, and you can start to kind of take that on, and yeah, it's just, it'll just, signing up for a tournament that is just above your level will really motivate you. And that might be the thing that actually gets you into that level, like permanently, and then beyond. So,
wow, that, you know what, when you sent me that tip, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking more about like, oh, he's probably wanting them to watch like how they play, like the better players play and all that, and like maybe like how they have like a putting routine and like a swing routine.
Yeah, you might absorb some of that good stuff from osmosis or whatever, but for the most part, no. It's more about them looking at you than you looking at them. Yeah.
No, I think what you made so much practical sense right there, because I know as soon as you started saying that, I was thinking to myself, if I was in the tournament, that's exactly what I would be doing. I'd be like, I gotta get.
Yeah, you feel their eyeballs on you, and you get jazzed up. I mean, the main motivator more than anything else in golf is shame, and you do not want to. I mean, it'll like more than you want to win or you want to do it. You just don't want to be totally disgraced in front of a bunch of other golfers, you know? So
Right.
that will, especially like missing those short putts, like there's a big shame factor to it. Like, well, you'd have to be an idiot to miss that putt. So that not wanting to get yourself in that position will get you to practice and become a better putter.
That's awesome. John was saying that his club championship starts tomorrow, but he wasn't confident enough to sign up. Well, maybe next time, John. Apparently, you talked to John too, because he was saying that you connected him with Eric Maitree. Awesome. All right. Tip number 2: build an obstacle course and don't be embarrassed.
All right. So there's a great book that Mike Bender wrote called Building a Swing for a Lifetime. Anyway, when I was talking, I did an interview with Mike Bender. We also did a Be Better Golf School at his golf school. And when you go, in Lake Mary. So when you go to his golf school, the place is just noodles everywhere. Like all the teachers that are teaching there, they're putting people with the noodles by their head or around the club, and then he also has this thing called the MEGSA system, which is the most efficient golf swing obtainable, and which is basically like a jungle gym apparatus that people stand in, and depending on what you're working on, you set it up so that you have to swing through it.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, so it's a cool thing, but you can do everything that machine does just with shafts, pool noodles, and like alignment sticks. So it is difficult, though. The diagnosis process is difficult because sometimes people will work on like something that is not even like relevant to making them better. But basically, when you go to the range, like I don't think you're not really gaining progress on becoming better if I'm able to walk up behind you and I just see like you hitting a club and your bag and like the balls and like that's it. Like because the way your body works, and this is coming from like a lot of different coaches that have seen people get better and seen people stagnate, you don't want to hit stuff, like you will improve so much faster if you're using like obstacles and things like that. So for example, like me, like I stand up in my swing like this. So for my whole golf career, I've stood up in my swing and my shoulders have gotten flat, and everything I've tried, like feel this, feel that, do this, do that, like nothing makes it better. But if I put a noodle here right on my shoulder plane, I'll stay under it and I'll start to feel what I have to do to stay under it. And I'll have that negative feedback really, because like if I do the wrong thing. So I would figure out what you're working on in your golf swing, and almost any problem in the golf swing other than like mental problems is like boil it down. Like if you're looking to make your golf swing better, you really boil it down to, okay, what is the golf club doing? Like, don't be like, oh, I hate the way my hip looks here, or I hate that I'm early extending there, or like, look how my toe comes up here. Like, what would it look like if you erased yourself and you just saw the club swinging? Okay, now, based on what the club is doing, you need to find.
I'm gonna write that down.
Based on what the club is doing, you need to find some array of noodles or whatever else to get you doing the right thing. And then there's another more complicated way to do it, where you actually feed the error and you actually put the noodles in a way where you have to do the wrong thing, and then you hit horrible shots, but your body learns that that's wrong, and then you go back to the right thing. So there's a flip-flopping to that. But basically, like, okay, if because that's all the golf ball knows, and this is like nothing new, but all the golf ball knows is where the path that the club came from, and then how it's tilted at impact and where you hit it on the face. So just simplify it. Like, okay, because I wanted to get into doing some like golf instruction. So I was talking to Tony Lutzak, who I've taken like a bunch of lessons from. He's like my personal teacher.
I've seen your videos with him.
So I did a review of my nephew's golf swing, and Jack. I did a review of Jack's golf swing where it was like he sent me a swing and I did a voiceover on it, and then I sent it to Tony and I said like, okay, like how did I do? as a, you know, golf instructor. He's like, well, let's just say like if it was pass fail, that you would have failed. I was like, really? I was like, because I thought I did a pretty good job. He's like, no, this would be like D+ at best. I was like, really? I was like, okay. But he was like, no, he's like, look at what his golf club's doing. I had told Jack, like, hey, your elbow this and your shoulder that and blah, blah. But like I hadn't mentioned, like, okay, you know, because you're going to do a lot better if you can get yourself or your student in this case to like, you figure out what you got to do to get the golf club here. It's because from there through there, just like from, you know, they call it P6 to P8 or whatever, that's really the only part that influences it. Like, because the thing that I always see, and this is the big thing that comes to the obstacle course, is you always see from waist high, let's say the golf swing from belt high on the way through is like above waist high. It's super like there's Jim Furyk and there's Ricky Fowler and there's Shane Lowry and there's Daniel Berger and everybody in between. But once you get to about belt high on the way through, it starts to narrow like dramatically. Like almost everybody's pretty similar, and then once you get to impact, everybody's extremely similar on and how they're doing that. So figure out what you're doing around impact that's not what you want, and start, you know, and if you're not, like, you got to make it difficult. So if you're doing it and you're missing the noodle a lot of times, then it's probably not tough enough for you. So that's the other part about don't be embarrassed. Like, set up this station like on the range. Like I was on the range, I had all kinds of things. I didn't look like Tim Cup or whatever, but I had the thing for my shoulder here, and then I had another thing for my club to keep it low on the way through, which is basically the same thing, but it's what I was working on. And then I had a camera set up, and this wasn't even like a YouTube video, I was just practicing. And then I had a camera set up doing like the instant replay. And a golfer, so everybody would be, for the most part, would be like majorly embarrassed to have like such a big setup like that on the range. And a golf pro walks by me, and this was one of the only places that was open at the time. And everybody would be like embarrassed, thinking like, oh man, like the pro there is going to like roll his eyes and be like, what is this idiot doing? Like, you know, doesn't know anything. And he came up to me, and he didn't know Be Better Golf or anything. And he just came up to me, the pro, and he's like, you know, I'm really happy to see somebody actually trying to improve. You know, I see you got your setup, you got your camera, like you're making some progress at getting better. Like everybody else here is just, you know, you're basically just exercising, you know, because the way your brain works, once you've hit one shot, like, okay, you've done that, and you can keep trying it, and you're just kind of searching for the feel of the day. You're not really making any progress on what it's going to take to get better. So actually, like, people would be nervous to be embarrassed to have so much stuff and, you know, like apparatus around them. But you're actually going to get more respect from the people who go to a PGA Tour event. A PGA Tour event today looks so different than a PGA Tour event from the 80s. Today, you're going to see guys with balls in between their hands, with pool noodles. On the putting green is insane with how many alignment aids they have and other things. Like,
Bryson DeChambeau had like that wooden box that he brought out there. Did you see that?
On the putting green or on the driving range?
On the putting green.
No, I haven't seen it.
It was literally like, I mean, it looked like a gate, but it had to be more than that because it was huge. Okay. It was gigantic. It was like a miniature doghouse out there, and he's, you know, putting
right. No, that's the thing. That you go to a tour event now, there's all kinds of apparatus and stuff that they're using now. And the other thing that tour players have that is really important, like that they're using their caddies in ways to hold the noodles and also hold the camera and hold like that feedback is really crucial. And if you want to be better, like the thing that I used to say, like, because people, like, when I first went out to do the videos on golf courses and stuff, the thing that people said, like, oh, aren't you like embarrassed to like pull the camera out, pull the tripod out, pull like all this stuff out? Sorry, aren't you embarrassed to pull all this stuff out? And I'm like, well, those people aren't there when I'm signing my scorecard for like an 84 and I feel like I want to vomit. You know, those people who are making me feel like silly for having the camera out or having the noodles out, or like, you know, they're not going to be the ones that are going to have to deal with like my emotions when like I'm feeling horrible. And they're also not going to be there when, you know, I've played really well. So it's like, I'm the one who has to deal with, the results of my good or bad scores. So I don't care how they feel. Don't be embarrassed.
You know what? And I think it's a great tip because I've been going to the range a lot lately, and I haven't seen anyone with any kind of apparatuses, any kind of setup going on besides maybe the occasional alignment stick on the ground.
I mean, look, my favorite show, it's actually in the future, this is something I want to do. But like my favorite golf TV show or internet show that ever comes on all year is Live on the Range at the Masters. So like, on the Wednesday or Tuesday, Wednesday before the Masters, they have the TrackMan set up so you can see the flight scopes of how the ball is going. But Bryson and even Tiger and other guys, they put the head cover in such a way on the ground, or Vijay Singh puts the umbrella in such a way, and the sand bottle, and like they have like these little obstacle courses, or even they're doing it with balls sometimes. But more and more, you're seeing guys like, when would you ever see, like in the 80s, when would you ever have seen somebody come out with like a straight up training aid, like a training aid? But now you see it all the time. A friend of mine, Birdie from DST Golf, like has the bent backwards club. Like 23 of the top 30 guys have used that club like on a tour driving range. So that's an old idea that people think like is like real embarrassing or whatever, but you just got to get over that.
Awesome. All right. Our final tip here, and this is something that I feel like you've probably done more research and homework on than anyone else, definitely across the YouTube stratosphere, is towing the golf club. Don't let the club control you.
So this comes from, like, I did a series of videos with Birdie, who I was just talking about, the guy who
I've seen a lot of them.
So basically, like, Birdie calls it lag tension, which never really fit for me, because having the word tension in there makes you think that like you're holding it, or like you're being tense as you're holding it. It's not what it means, but it does give you that image of like holding. And that was the thing with Be Better Golf when I first started it, that the main question I had was like, hey, like I've been trying, because I learned the golfing machine and other things that's talked about like how important lag was. I've been trying so hard to hold lag and keep lag through impact. And I'm just like, I was like a seriously bad, like I was an okay player, like probably like a 4 handicap or something. But like, but that took so much like practice and like just to get there. And my anti-handicap was super high. So like the handicap is like of your whatever, your 20 last rounds, like your 5 lowest averaged, right? But my anti-handicap was like, of my 20 last rounds, my 5 highest average would have been like really high, especially for so when you're talking about towing the golf club, the club has to be towed through impact. So if I'm say I'm like pulling this through. So think about like how you could control like if you're running fast with like a push cart on 2 wheels, and you're running fast forward pushing it, think about how much control you would have. Or if you're running fast but it's trailing behind you, that kind of gives an idea of it. So a lot of people get this confused with shaft lean. And can I share my screen with you? Because I have some things prepared if I can.
I don't know if you can. Let me
or I don't think I can. Yeah, because I'm in my I'm
yeah, okay. I don't think you can. I didn't set it up that way.
So basically you have to tow the golf club through the area, through the zone. So if you take the easy way to look at this, I'm just unplug from here so I can. If you look at your swing from face on and you hit the golf ball, if you take an extension of your left arm and run a line down to the ground, this needs to be past the golf ball at impact. So that shows whether or not you're towing the club. Now, most people, what they do is they swing the golf club, they kind of overcharge it at the beginning, and then it kind of tips backwards because you're swinging and it kind of tips. So Let me just put these back in. So the only technical thing that I was as you're trying to build your golf swing and you're trying to become better at golf, you've got to learn first how to identify how much toe you are doing, like how much you're towing it through impact. Then you got to be able to then you got to figure out like, okay, how am I going to do that? But 95+% of regular golfers have the club at impact past their hands, basically. So once the club is, if you're towing it through impact, then you are controlling the golf club. Once the club has passed this line that goes past your left arm, once the club has passed that, the club is its own freewheeling thing. It's basically like, I'm controlling this pencil until once I let go of it, like I'm not controlling what that's doing. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're throwing the club to the ball and then it gets flung past you. And then it can wobble. Sometimes you'll hit it this way, sometimes you hit it that way. So,
so then your dispersion, your consistency, even your power, all of that stuff suffers.
And Sasha McKenzie, famous golf scientist. So Birdie had Sasha do this thing called forward modeling of the difference between like what if everything was equal? What if the club head speed and the angle of attack and the location on the face and even the shaft lean, what if all those things were the same, but one swing had lag tension, what he was calling it, or one was being towed and one had been flung? Sasha found that you'll hit the ball 45% straighter if it's being towed. You'll hit it like 7 yards further with like an 8-iron or something. Like everything, but that straightness was like dramatically more narrow if you're the one that's doing it, because you cannot predict the timing that you need to line that up is really difficult. And it's just once you know how to and if you search Be Better Golf lag tension, you'll see a lot of videos that'll explain this better. But once you know how to identify that, you'll see it in every single time. Like it's impossible for me to watch a Instagram post of a golfer with a face-on view without me doing a screenshot and recording it and pausing it at impact. And you'll see like a huge difference. And but the other thing with this too is that doesn't mean like Joachim Neiman like has like the most on tour. Like he's towing it more than any other player on tour. Him and Cameron Champ a little bit, but Cameron Champ has a lot, probably maybe the most with driver. But through the entire bag, Joachim Neiman's towing it more than anybody else. So he's got like his arms would be pointed about 2 feet in front of the ball at impact. And that doesn't mean that Joachim Neiman is going to be better golfer than like Charlie Hoffman, who's like 8 inches in front of the ball. It's a binary choice. Either you're towing it through impact, either you're towing the club and you're in control of it, and that could be 2 feet, that could be 7 inches, or you're not, and that could be and on that side of it though, that's pretty like the worst players are like have the club like back here and they're trying to impact it like this, right. And then you're starting to get better and closer to scratch as you get to here. On the tour side of it, on the lag tension side of it, it's you just need some. So that's like really the dividing line for if you're trying to get better at golf. That's the dividing line for whether or not you can be whether or not you're actually playing golf. If you're towing the club through impact, then you're playing golf. And you're actually able to be like, okay, and that's when the game really opens up. And that's when, because I don't think there's really any point in the mental game of golf or course strategy or anything like that if the club has been flipped past the point of you controlling it. Because
you have no idea where the ball's going.
What's
anyways.
The only point would be to manage your own emotions and to help you not feel quite so bad about it. And maybe keep you in the game enough to have your short game save it, but you're right. Going to be no kind of player if it's flipped. Like, and there have some people. Sometimes people send me pictures of like, what about like Jack Nicklaus, or what about this shot of Tiger Woods? And without a doubt, whenever they're sending me these pictures that like proves that you don't need lag tension. It's always like the ball's about that far gone or a little bit gone. They're never hitting impact exactly. So that's the main thing. That, and then the channel, you can make an entire YouTube channel, and I kind of have, about the different ways that you achieve that state of towing the club through impact. And it's not really by freezing anything. The more you try to throw it, the more you actually end up having. So it's a very difficult problem to tackle. But just know that is the problem of golf. That is the question that golf demands that you figure out.
Is there one thing that you say that might benefit everyone as far as getting closer to towing the club that you found that you feel like you need to do?
I mean, for me, I like to hit low, like not very hard, like 7-irons that only go like 70 yards or something carry,
like a ball, like just
yep.
chipper.
And you're taking it here, and you can start to feel it. That's that. Whenever you feel like, oh, I can press that ball, that means that the club was towing, and you pulled it. You pulled it, or you rotated, or whatever you did. The club was towing your control, and you pinched it. So, like, I mean, the best thing I've found to do that is to hit low cuts with like a 7-iron that are just like kind of pinched. The other huge thing with this, and this is so golf clubs are made like this, and they have loft on it, and to help you get it up in the air. Almost everybody who doesn't have lag tension, who is not towing the club through impact, has the ball too far back in their stance. So they have it too far back in their stance, and then they put some flip to it. But because they want the hands forward and they want to drive it lower, they put it more back in their stance. The further the ball goes back in your stance, though, the more you kind of have to cast to it to get some kind of loft. And it's a vicious spiral. So the ball goes back in your stance so that you can hit it more compressed, but then you flip at it more because it's back in your stance, and you're stuck in a pattern. You'll never get better. Really try to hit those 7-irons. Put the 7-iron in like a 3-wood ball position and try to hit it low compressed where you're taking a very shallow divot too. Anybody can get shaft lean or whatever by hitting like down on it, 15. The absolute best way to practice this is to get on a Foresight machine, which is something that's that thing Bryson DeChambeau is using all the time.
Yep.
If you can get on like a GC quad or something where they can read what the club is doing and what the ball is doing, both. What you want to do is try to hit shots, not too fast, but try to hit shots where you're hitting down on it with like a 7-iron, like 8 degrees or something, or even like 5 or 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. But you're launching it low, So you want to be shallow, but launch it low from a forward ball position. You put those 3 things together. The only way to do those 3 things together is to have lag tension. Then start building that, and it gets very difficult once, because what you think creates speed are going to be things that destroy this. So you just got to keep taking it up until you can do it, and then all of a sudden, I had this picture I wanted to show with you, but it's pretty cool. If you go to, let me see where I have it on here. Yeah, if you go to Keith Mitchell's Instagram, on there he has, and Keith Mitchell is a guy with great lag tension, right, on the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. But I usually don't see stuff like this. But he has a picture of a swing sequence of his from when he was 12, and that showed his impact. So now on tour, he's like this. He's got great lag tension. But when he was 12, he was like this, and he was totally flipped. Right. You know what I mean? And that shows it right there. Some guys that were on golf teams with him, they just made that work, that kind of flip thing. And they maybe they practiced twice as much as Keith did. And other guys, other golfers, as you're coming, but Keith, at some point, either through good coaching or just like intuitively figuring out, he figured out that this was not going to work. And he figured out, how am I going to get it like that? And, his level just, exploded. You will never get it like you would have to be such a magician with your hands. And there are a couple guys on tour. There are a couple guys even on tour that don't have lag tension on every shot. And if you want to see one of them, it would just look at the guy who's been the best putter on tour for the last 15 years. The guy has no lag tension at all. And you have to be so good strokes gains wise in your putting and chipping to be able to keep a career on the tour if you're not towing it. And it just helps everything else.
Gotcha. Yeah. Now you also have a course on that too, don't you? Like Beyond Great Impact.
Yeah, if you go to,
like
think it's, let me look it up. I think it's bebettergolf.net/BGI. I'm just going to check that. Yep. If you go to bebettergolf.net/BGI. So basically, like I did I did a year's worth of videos with Birdie from DST, and I had been flipped, and I was like, could not get my head around, like, why is this not, like, anytime I try to hit it hard, it's gone. I'm doing those 7-iron things like I was telling you, but anytime I try to put any power into it, it's gone. Well, I found I've through like a really weird process using that for the Foresight machine and doing some other things, like I found a way that like I can every single time guaranteed doing this certain way, like it's not like a thing you can do on the golf course, but doing this certain way, like I can have amazing, awesome lag tension and hit like the tour quality pure shots. But it would be but doing this would be illegal to do on the golf course. So I made like this little program about it. Like I think it's really good. Like I've had insane the results of a lot of the people who have taken it have been really good. But like I'm not like the only accreditation at all in teaching or anything like that I have in golf is when Birdie came out to the United States, I got my certification as a DST certified instructor as far as this delayed his lag tension theory and all this stuff I'm talking about. That's the only accreditation as a teacher or anything I've ever had. And
well, that doesn't mean that someone can't learn from
right. But that is the one part that I do know about, which is if I could know about anything, that would be the one part that I would want to know about. And yeah, so on this course, bebettergolf.net/BGI, Beyond Great Impact, I basically found a protocol that anybody can do. Like you can take the worst flipper in the world, and if they do this routine, they're going to see like, hey, that's all the lag tension in the world I would ever want. And then just the very difficult part is then, okay, how do I port that on to do it with no apparatus, with no help or anything like that on the golf course? That's the personalization part that's very difficult. But that first giant step is, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, it's Beyond Great Impact. It's been like, it was a moment in my mind that just like blew my brain up when I figured this out. And it's been a lot of fun.
And for everyone who's on here, and actually everyone on who's following Up Glove on our email list, I'll send all this out to them as well. I'll send them and stuff. Okay, so first off, thank you for all that. Did anyone have any specific questions here? Pat said, Pat was talking about the towing of the club.
So important.
Does anyone have any questions that they personally wanted to ask Brendon?
Sean, are you at a club there, or do you just play public golf? Or
yeah, no, I just play public. I have a few friends who are members at stuff, and I'll play with them at their courses. But I'm one of those people who I like to play different courses.
Yeah, I know.
For me,
you feel like once you paid for the membership, you would be like, oh, I'm wasting my money going somewhere else. I'm paying so much for the.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. John asked, I didn't quite get how to make my practice more intense.
That would just go back to the first tip we said. Your practice will become very intense once you've say like spent $200 to sign up for a tournament that's just out of your level. So John, if you're, you know what was a shame was there's a guy that Be Better golfer called Ray, a friend of mine that I met through the channel. So he was doing the Golf Channel Am Tour. So he came to he came to one of our Be Better Golf schools with like Tony Lutzak and I out in Long Beach. And he also came to the short game school I did with Tim Yelverton. Anyway, he was playing pretty regularly on the Golf Channel Am Tour. And he had jumped around to a bunch of different instructors. And he was never like really in the hunt for it, but he kept being there. And all of a sudden something clicked and he won like 3 of those events in a single season and like got to go play in the finals and everything. And that was like really, that was really cool. So, and that was the thing that I wanted to bring up to you as well. Oh, and for some, they closed that though. Golf Channel Am Tour is out of business now, I heard. So yeah.
Oh,
so
geez,
in addition to them,
they're moving everyone out of Orlando. They shut down Orlando. Everyone's going up to
not everyone, not even most. Yeah, but their whole operation is going, but they're firing a lot of people, I heard. I mean,
yeah, no, the only thing that they're keeping here, I think, is the Golf Now and Golf Pass people, is what it said.
Yeah, that's a difficult situation. I don't know anything about it, but I've been working for TV companies my whole life, and it's always chill and everything's cool, and then one day there's like, okay, we're gonna have a meeting, and you walk in the meeting and it says there's an air over the room, and you're like, oh boy, it's like the executioner's there. No, but something that people ask me all the time, and this is something I wanted to bring up. So people say to me all the time, like, how do you get better at golf if you're always jumping from like teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher? You're never sticking to one thing. You're sticking to one pattern. And I was saying this to somebody about it. I was like, well, if I had Be Better Golf, or if I didn't have Be Better Golf, I would be doing the same thing. That's what I was doing. Like I'm always, because I'm like a real curious type anyway. Like I'm always going to be looking at tips on the internet. I'm always going to be talking about golf to different types of people, whether I have the Golf Channel or not. But I'm not seeing in the research I've seen, and also in the evidence of the players I've seen that have gotten better and the players I've seen that have not gotten better, I'm not seeing a very strong correlation between sticking with one method and getting better. Like there's just as many people who have stuck with the same teacher or stuck with one method of doing things that have never gotten better, as I would say there's more players that have jumped around all different kinds of methods that end up getting better than people who is stuck with one method. I mean, even if you look at Justin Rose just fired his coach and now he's doing it on his own. Tiger Woods has changed coaches famously 6 times or more. And, even like the best players in the world, but like you gotta, because the main thing for me has never been like I've never stopped taking lessons from a teacher because of the information. Like it's never, like almost never. And I've like, this is talking like before Be Better Golf, I know what I'm saying. And this is the best advice I could give to a golf teacher. The main thing that ever gets me to stop taking lessons from someone is just their enthusiasm goes down and my enthusiasm has stayed the same or gotten more. Because every golf teacher, when you go up there for your first golf lesson, or you signed up for a set of 3 golf lessons, their enthusiasm about how much better they're going to get you is like sky high lesson 1, and by lesson 4 they're like done with you. They're like bored. They're bored of your problem. You know what I mean? Or maybe they haven't made it better or anything like that. So that would be the main thing. It's like keep that enthusiasm high. And this guy that I was telling you about, that won on the Golf Channel Amateur a bunch of times last year, he'd been to he bounces around to a lot of different coaches, and he kind of keeps the things that he likes, and he kind of like, the things that like he just knows that aren't going to click for him, he just kind of like ignores them. Yeah. But I would go against that thing of thinking like, oh, I just need one thing to stick to it. Well, in some ways you need to have like go-to shots in that way, but that's not really how like I think golf is a lot more like MMA and a lot less like archery. So like archery, like you're doing that same thing and you're trying to hit the bullseye like exactly every time you're doing that. And that's kind of how people think of golf. Like I'm precise, I'm here, I'm lined up, I'm going there. I think golf is a lot more like MMA. And you think that the reason that MMA got so big was they figured out through all these Gracie-led tournaments, they figured out, well, there's no there's no like, okay, it's not going to be like all kung fu guys or all karate guys or even all Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys. The guys who are really good at MMA now are guys who are they're like and everything, and they're doing boxing, and they're Conor McGregor's doing these weird like animal body movement things, and they're doing all kinds of stuff. And that's how golf is, because it's not one skill. It's like you got to be a putter, and you got to be a chipper, and you got to be a good driver of the ball. And driving the golf ball is very different from doing bunker shots.
It's a very dynamic sport.
Yeah. So you got to be a really good learner and a really super adaptable. So yeah.
Right. Pat asked asked Brendon, since we are here, any discounts on BGI? He's putting you right there.
Anybody who's watching this, send me an email and say, hey, I want BGI, and I think it's $49.95. I'll do $20 off of that. So just send me an email, and I'll say, hey, I watched you on the Up Glove talk, and I want to get BGI. Just let me know, and I'll send it to you for $30.
Pat said, good deal, thanks. Let's see what else we got here. Your swing speed. I saw you do the swing speed sticks. Were you able to maintain your swing speed after you increased it?
No, not really. I mean, I can spike. I can spike it like to get high. Like right now, like I measured it yesterday. It was 116. Was like a good one, a pretty solid one. And then I'm like golf course speed more like 113, something like that. But just if you're not like, you got to be like, because that's what I did. Like I went out to Kansas and I did this thing where I got up to 172 miles an hour of ball speed because I wanted to break 170. And John and I from Tour Tempo, like, we're really working hard, like grinding hard over 2 days, and we did it, And I was, and the 170 I hit wasn't like some crazy shot. It was like everything lined up. It was perfect. And when I came back, I was like, all right, I know that it'll go away if I don't keep up with it. So I started doing these classes with like some subscribers and stuff, where I was doing the swing speed sticks and stuff. But what I found was that doing the speed stick swings and stuff, you have to basically be doing that stuff right on the range only, I would say. Like, I don't really like doing it in the street anymore. Like, I was doing a lot in the street or the backyard or things like that. I don't really love that anymore. Because it starts to creep into your regular golf swing and starts giving you like a pattern that's like not that ideal. Like, you need to, like, I would rather have you like do that protocol, that Golf Stick Pro protocol or whatever. But you got to be then like hitting shots in between it. You always got to be relating it back to golf. Like, because I found that the more, like, one of the worst times I was swinging at the worst was when I was doing the speed sticks and all that stuff the most. And I think now that I'm starting to get into it again to build my speed, it's got to be like, it's got to be always like popping back to golf. Like, okay, you see how I'm swinging the heavy end now and the way that feels? Let me grab my driver and now try to feel that the heavy end through there, or see the light end here and that feels. It's always got to be constantly poured back into golf, like it, and just moving your body faster. Like for guys like Bryson DeChambeau, like who raises swing speed crazy with the whatever they're called, super speed sticks. That works for him because he's hitting balls every day. He's probably hitting balls in most hours of every day that he's not eating and or drinking protein shakes. So, so that'll work for him because he's constantly golfing. And I even think like for the college golfers that might be okay. But for guys who, like, let's say you're able to get to the range twice a week and then you play once a week. The protocol to make you better, you have to be doing that 3 times a week for a while. Well, that's going to be a lot of times that you're doing that and you're not hitting balls. So that's the whole thing also about golf fitness is like, what you have to do in golf fitness in order for it to show up in your golf game is like a lot, like way more time than Sean has or I have for you got to be a full-time golfer to get a benefit out of golf fitness. So So really, like, yeah, I would use those super speed sticks and stuff like that. But how I'm using them now is like, it's got to be right at the very time that I'm actually hitting drivers.
Gotcha. Lauren said Lauren had to go, but he wanted to thank you for all the information.
Thank
you. Who's the best player you've ever played with?
I would say I could narrow it down to a few. So I played golf at Hartwell with this guy called Rory He. He's like the number 700 player in the world, or no, 550 player in the world. He won on the Asian Tour for the first time last year in India. And that was a cool experience because this course that I'm talking about, Hartwell, is an 18-hole course that he grew up on. That's only like 130-yard holes and less. So playing with him was really cool because he hits these low-flighted wedge shots, and they're always pretty close. And if he misses it, he's got a lot of different shots that he's learned. So that was pretty cool. But the best, it's hard to say because different guys do different things really well. I did this thing called the Be Better Golf Challenge series that I want to start doing more. So you remember the old Shell's Wonderful World of Golf matches? Well, I did this thing called the Be Better Golf Challenge series, so a match. So it was just one match so far, but I want to do more of them. And I took Monty Scheinboom, who's a very good player, and put him against another guy who has a YouTube channel called Blair McKeithen from Formula Golf. And I put up $800 to the winner, and I filmed it, and then I put it out on Be Better Golf. I put it out as like a pay-per-view thing on Be Better Golf to fund the purse. So it was cool because like they got paid and like people saw it. It was like $9. And it was and it turned out really cool. And that's the craziest display. If you watch that video, it's actually free now on Be Better Golf. If you type in YouTube Be Better Golf Challenge Series, that's the craziest display of driving that I ever saw from two guys. It was like about 100 degrees out at Rams Hill, which is like in the desert. So it's like the ball was carrying forever, but both these guys, and Monty's like a big dude that like he gets like 185 miles an hour of ball speed, and this other guy gets like 180 miles an hour ball speed, or maybe the same as Monty. And they were hitting like 400-yard drives. Like this one hole that was really downhill, and they're like the drives they were hitting were just like crazy. But probably the best golfer I know that I ever played with would probably be Eric Miketree, who
I see him on the channel. He seems legit.
He's just so, like, he was telling me, like I was saying, he was telling me so many good mental game tips. I'm like, yeah, the mental game for you're like flushing it, and it's either like left side of the green, right side of the green, or like, you know, it's like, yeah, obviously it's like, okay, I'm gonna hit my drive over here, and then I'm gonna have an angle over here. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, and just the only reason I say he's probably the best player I play with is because, I mean, making birdies is just so easy for him. He's not insanely long. Like he hits at 300 yards, but he hits his iron shots so close. He has so many chances for birdie. It's like he made, I think, 7 birdies in this round, and it was just like, and I was asking him questions the whole time. It was like, it was so easy for him. So he does. He comes off like it's just like it seems so smooth. Like when he swings, he's like never muscling anything. It's like he's so 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 he's probably the best golfer. So I'm thinking about it doing a Be Better Golf Challenge match of Eric versus Milo, which I think would be really interesting.
Ooh,
because Milo's the best driver of the ball I've ever seen. Like I saw him hit probably 50 or 60 drives because we were on the range and on the course and stuff, and he missed one drive of those 50 or 60. And the reason he missed it was I was asking him, like, okay, when do the hands square? And he was trying to think about it, and he hit like a snap hook. But that was just on the range. Like 59 drives, he just like nuts, perfect. So
he's swinging so fast.
Yeah, he really slings it. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. Like so this is what I'm going through in Be Better Golf now, as I'm trying to figure out, can I do Milo's more of a slinging body work thing with I like a really active right hand, like a spanking thing. You know, Milo says like he doesn't want any arms in the swing, like feeling it all. Tony is saying that the arms has to lead the swing. So I'm seeing, is there a way for me, and maybe there's not, but I'm trying to figure it out. Is there a way for me to have that start of the body and then but still have this active spank or slap that I like to have? So that's what I'm going through.
I'll tell you what helped me a lot that I've worked on the range the last couple of days, and you and Milo kind of covered this. One is like just my posture in general, but one thing that I was watching something on Athletic Motion Golf and a couple other people, and like one of the biggest differences between a good golfer and a bad golfer is side bend. And like the difference between pros and AMs, like pros are almost at like 40 degrees, amateurs are at,
like their shoulders always come flat, huh? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I've started working on that, and something that I think Milo said it in your guys's talk is like, you know, the side bend needs to come from like around your rib cage, and I think a lot of times I was doing it more from my
that's
hip.
tilting. Yeah, you want to bend. You don't want to tilt.
Yeah, and so the last few days I've been practicing that at the range, and it's felt really, really good.
One cool thing to do is get a long stick, and this is something else I saw. So if you can see me more like this, and you do this kind of kayak thing where you go like this, and you go, see how my body. So if I'm like backwards paddling like a kayak, that kind of, exactly. So that kind of shows that's basically what's happening when you're swinging, you know. So at least they can. So that's something you can do like at home or whatever to just kind of warm up and kind of like, know what those muscles are supposed to kind of be doing. Yeah.
But someone Pat asked if you watch TXG, the club fitting on YouTube, and will you be getting a GC quad soon?
I was watching. Yeah, no, I haven't seen. I've seen a couple of their videos. I know they're super in depth, and I know that they use. And like them, like they like I like the GC quad. Like people ask me this sometimes. Like I like the GC quad. I'd rather have that than the more expensive TrackMan. Definitely, I think the numbers. And I've talked to the guys from when I went to the PGA show. I talked to the guys from Foresight Golf and stuff like that. And I trust the numbers that come out of that more as far as like club head data and really to be able to use the GC quad as a machine to get better, you need to be able to see what the club's doing. That costs an additional, be able to get that data costs, I think, an additional $5,000 or something. So like, cause you can get a GC quad, I think for like, maybe, I don't know these numbers, but $15,000 or $14,000. But then if you wanted to be able to see, it's just like a software patch, kind of like, you know, like in a Tesla, like unlocking auto drive. It's just, they can all do it. It's like, but for you to have them unlock the ability to be able to read the stickers on a club.
For them to press the button in order to do the firmware update.
Yeah, exactly. They just press a button and you got it. So kind of like I was talking about with Beyond Great Impact, there's this study that I wanted to do with lag tension and stuff but I would need a quad to do the study. So I was thinking about asking them if I could like use one and then I'd send it back or feature it. My friend Dr. Scott has one, but he uses, so I use his quite a lot, but he travels a lot. So I don't know, I'm in the works, but if I ever did Be Better Golf full time, then yeah, I would definitely want to get that.
Awesome. Well, this was great,
Sean.
Brendon. I really, man, it was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again. And I want to remind everyone to definitely check out Be Better Golf on YouTube and definitely check out BeBetterGolf.net. And Brendon, if you want, because I have a couple people here saying send me the discount code. If you want, if you send me something, I can send it out to everybody. It might
Sure.
be instead of you getting.
Oh, I should say my email.
To,
so if you want the discount code for Beyond Great Impact, it's not a discount code. It's just emailing me directly. So I should have sent my email. Contact bebettergolf@gmail.com. Anybody who emails me saying I saw you on the UpGlove talk, I want the discount on Beyond Great Impact, just send it to me, and you just go through PayPal. It'll be easy.
Is there a way for you to potentially just facilitate a discount code?
Yeah, there will be, but that'll take like 10 or 15 minutes. You know what? I could. All right, I'll do. I'll do.
Fine.
If you guys go, I'll write it down here. If you guys go and use discount code UpGlove, and you go to youtube.com/BGI, I'll make sure to put a discount code in there. But if you can't get that working, just email me, contact bebettergolf@gmail.com.
Okay. I'll send out an email to everyone either tonight or tomorrow as well. And then that way.
And I got to send it to you. I got to get your feedback because I think you'd like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Definitely send it over. Awesome, guys. Well, I really, Brendon, I totally appreciate, Pat said this was great. I appreciate you coming on and spending this time with everyone and sharing these tips. I think it definitely resonated with a lot of people, and we just appreciate the time, man. Thanks a lot.
If you guys go over to youtube.com/BeBetterGolfShow, and if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. Go to your wife's computer and have her subscribe, because the more subscribers, that's the main thing that gets teachers to want to come on the channel. If I say like, okay, I have 71,000 subscribers or whatever, but I get a little plaque at 100,000. I get a little plaque from YouTube. So I'm looking forward.
Well, let's help you get to 100. I will email all my email subscribers as well. So I have a few thousand email subscribers, and I'll go ahead and tell them to go ahead and follow you and everything as well.
See you later. Thanks. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.